Hey guys, it's Vandy back again with another card fight Vanguard deck profile. So if you guys enjoyed, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, donate to Patreon. And let's get this one started. Today's deck is one of our last two decks for V-Series. This one being Murakumo, Yasuie. If you're wondering why I'm doing Yasuie so far after it got released, it's because it was a deck that I wanted, didn't have enough money for, which is why I have 7 Cs instead, and I just never got around to buying it despite the fact it's gotten cheaper. So now I'm doing a deck profile on it just to represent it as one of my last decks. So let's go ahead and get this started. First up, as our starter, we got Stealth Dragon Adverspike. 6k base, 10k shield, grade 0 with boost. Auto and road upon, you get to draw a card. Then if your opponent's Vanguard is a grade 1 or greater, get a quick shield ticket into your hand. So, basically the standard starter, the draw that I always top deck off of for some reason, followed by the quick shield ticket, which for some reason is an actual 5k shield, but I guess just that's the way it is. And now into grade 1s. First, grade 0s, triggers. 2 copies of Stealth Fiend Everwing. 5k base, 5k shield, it's just a draw trigger. We've got Fox Tamer Izuna as a front trigger at 2. We got 4 Uptrend Stealth Rogue Koichi. And then we got 4 Stealth Rogue of Fiendish Blade Marasuma as a critical trigger, followed by 4 Stealth Fiend Takehime as a heal trigger. So now you may be wondering, why do we run 2 draws, 6 fronts, and 4 crits? Well, that's because this deck does do a lot of deck searching and a lot of deck thinning. And most of your rear guards are going to come from deck. So you don't really need that many draw triggers. Critical trigger-wise, it's just for fun and to pressure your opponent. Also because it's me and that critical trigger in particular used to support Yasuie. So obviously I'm going to bring it back here instead of a draw PG. And finally, the 6 fronts. Well, there may be times where all of your units might not be able to hit. I mean, I literally have a backup plan installed in this deck to where if your opponent pulls triggers, you can do something else with your swings just in case you don't see fronts, or just in case your units can't actually hit. So the front's are always helpful to help push for numbers. And now onto the main deck. So first up, we've got 4 copies of Inexhaustible Stealth Rogue Tokitsune, a 5k base, 10k shield, such a weak grade 1. Continuous rear guard, This unit gets plus 5k power for each copy of this thing on rear. Or on your other circles, basically. So if you have another one on rear, it's a 10k base. If you have 2 on rear, 15k. If you have 2 other ones on rear, it's a 15k base. Then if you have 3 others on rear, it's a 20k base. So, really good booster, because that means everything is going to be basically hitting for the 30s, and it's an okay attacker. It's a 20k attacker, so it's normally like a 10k guard. Or maybe it's a 25k attacker if you put it on Excel Circle. Maybe 30 if you put it on Excel 1. But either way, it's still a good card, so I say 4 copies. Because you need multiple just to get out the full benefit, so 4 copies wouldn't be insane. In fact, it would be normal. 4 copies of Gateway Stealth Rogue Ataka. 8k base, 10k shield, grade 1, boost, continuous van rear. During your turn, if you have 2 or more units with the same card name as any of your units, this unit gets plus 5k power. So say, for example, you had 2 of this thing on board. Ataka becomes 13k base because you have 2 units with the same name, or 2 Atakas, or 2 Yasuies, or 2 etc. And then auto van rear, when placed from hand, look at top 5, and reveal what to 1 grade 3 from among them, put it to your hand, and shuffle your deck. If you put a card, you gotta discard 1. So basically the standard searcher, where you get to look at top 5 for a grade 3, add it to hand and discard 1. Its ability to get the 5k is honestly one of the better ones. Not as good as Grand Rope, because Grand Rope's skill is just, if you're at grade 3, plus 5. Play the game, plus 5. That's pretty much what it does. So this one you kind of have to go for a bit of work on, but it's not that hard to obtain. And I feel like this deck is, in particular, the reason why it says when placed from hand, because you could easily just, call 1 down from hand, use the skill, use Yasuie, search for more copies of it, and get more searches out of it, and just be more consistent in general. So I feel like that's why it's called when placed from hand, but it's still a useful card, so 4 copies. 4 copies of Wisteria Flower Stealth Rogue Takehime. 8k base, 10k shield, grade 1 boost. Auto van, when placed, look at top 7, reveal to 1 card with Yasuie and its card name from among them, put it to your hand and shuffle your deck. So free search, basically. Ride this. This is your main grade 1 ride target. If they give us ride decks in premium, make this your grade 1 ride target. Do not do anything else. I swear to God, if you do, I will backhand you. And then auto rear, once per turn, when your Vanguard, Yasuie, and its card name is placed, counterboss 1, choose one of your units, and call it to 1 card with the same card name as the chosen unit from your drop zone to rear guard. So, you get a free search for Yasuie. That's always nice because you never have to discard. You get to look at top 7, so that increases your range, and it's any Yasuie, so that's always helpful. And then, if your Vanguard Yasuie is placed, either during the battle phase or the main phase. Hint, hint, yes, we can do it from the battle phase. Aha, we're one of the decks that are cool and can get multiple Vanguard attacks. You can get a free unit call to either increase your attacks or to increase your searching power, so it's always really helpful to have. So 4 copies of Takehime. Hint, hint, this is normally what you attempt to call, or maybe what you attempt to discard with a certain skill to then call back later. So 4 copies. And now into grade 2s. 1 copy of Stealth Rogue of No Mask Yasuie. 9k base, 5k shield, grade 2 with intercept. Auto rear when placed, search your deck for up to 1 card, put it to drop, and shuffle your deck, and this unit gets that card's name until end of turn. So normally with Yasuie, you don't want to have too little cards with little copies. You normally want to have like 4 copies, 3 copies, 2 copies as met, 1 copy never. This is one of the cards where you will be fine running one because it's nothing really special. It's an on-place that is meant to clone another card's name, not an ability, just the name. So obviously you don't want more than 1, and you normally use it just to get extra searching out if you need it. Like, for example, say you have 3 of this thing on board, the other one's somewhere in deck, and you kind of need to get it out so you can get your maximum power out of it. You can go, or actually no, say for example you need say for example you do need one of these, but none of them are on board. You could call this thing, send one of them to drop, use Yasuie skill because this thing's now a Tokitsune, clone this, call down the Tokitsune from your drops and they just called, or call one from the deck, and now you've kind of just benefited yourself by getting an extra rear guard. And this can always help with that, even though it's for the turn. So 1 copy because he can prove useful. 4 copies of Swift Archer Fushimi. 9k base, 5k shield, grade 2 intercept. Continues Vanna rear. If you have 4 or more rear guards during your turn, this unit gets plus 5k power. So a 14k base, it's really easy to hit that, so always nice to have. And then auto Vanna rear. When placed, choose one of your units, and until end of turn, it can attack from the back row. I'm sorry, it can attack a unit in the back row. Not attack from the back row, otherwise this deck could be far more aggressive than it actually is. But that's always helpful to have. This is pretty much the backup plan in case your opponent pulls a lot of triggers that you can't hit over. So you can normally call down a Fushimi. I say what your normal board's going to be like. Maybe call down a Fushimi during your turn, can attack from the back row with that unit in particular, then use Yasuie, then call down this thing or have a copy of it face on the board. Then clone one of those 2 or clone both of them to call down 2 more. One of them gets plus 5k power, and then the Fushimi gets to add a back row attack to itself. So then this turn, if your opponent pulls triggers and prevent some of your attacks from hitting the Vanguard, you can at least attack the back row and get rid of their pesky rear guards, since front triggers won't protect them, so unless they individually give triggers to them, then they're going to die. But if they did, that would lead to question, how many attacks are you getting for them to get enough triggers to defend the rear guards and block off your attacks just without guarding? So 4 copies, because Fushimi can always prove useful, and it always has that little backup plan in case they pull triggers. 4 copies of Abrupt Stealth Rogue Ario. 9k base, 5k shield, grade 2 intercept, auto van when placed, counterblast 1, search your deck for up to 1 card with the same card name as one of your units, call it to rear and shuffle your deck. Continues rear, during your turn if you have another unit with the same card name as this unit, this unit gets plus 10k power. So, it's a 19k base if you have another copy of it on board, and it can basically get you a free search. Normally, most of the time, is this going to be the unit that you call for with the search? But hey, that means one of your attacks will be for 19k this turn, so you're hitting for bigger numbers. So it's always helpful a unit to have, because if you place it on Van, you get a free search of it, and most likely a free search of it. And even if it's not on Van, it's still like 19k swings. So 4 copies. 4 copies of my favorite looking card in this deck, Demon Stealth Rogue Yotogi. 9k base, 5k shield, grade 2 with intercept. Continuous Vanguard. During your turn, all of your Demon Claw Stealth Rogue Yotogi on Van or rear get plus 3k power. So this is a 12k base during your turn. So if you're grade locked, at least you can swing at a V-Series XL or Protect Tech, or like a premium grade 3, and at least still be able to hit. And then auto Van or rear. When placed from hand, counterblast 1, soul blast 1, search your deck or drop zone for up to a copy of this thing. Call it to rear. If you search your deck, you gotta shuffle it. Unfortunately, it has to be placed from hand, so you can't just loop it by calling one from deck or drop, or by calling one in general, and then proceeding to call more and more until you are run out of copies or until you run out of resources. But hey, it's still helpful because it can always guarantee that you're going to have 2 attacks for swinging, which means your opponent's probably going to have to go to 2 damage at the very least. So, 4 copies because it can always prove helpful, and God, its art is beautiful as all hell. And now to grade 3s. 4 copies of Ambush Demon Stealth Rogue Yasuie Tenma. 12k base, grade 3, Twin Drive Excel gift. Used to be a very fun card to play in Premium because back when it was a stride, if your opponent was at 5 damage, they'd be suffering a lot of hell with multi-attacks. And then Act Van, rear, once per Act Vanguard circle, not rear, once per turn. Counterblast 1, choose one of your units and search your deck or drop zone for up to 1 copy with the same card name as that unit. Call it to rear, and so if you search your deck, shuffle your deck. So you get a extra search on board. You can basically call down a Yataga and Ario. Most likely just call down Ario in general because it's probably going to be your best one for power. Or like if you think your opponent's going to pull triggers, Fushimi just to get the power off and the back row attack. And then auto rear. When it attacks, this unit gets plus 10k power until end of that battle. At the end of the battle, retire this unit, choose one of your opponent's rear guards, and your opponent puts that unit at the bottom of the deck. So that's always helpful, being a 22k swing, forcing out a 15 or 10k guard, also killing itself at the end of the battle to send something to bottom, so like something that it can't die by effects, because resist would still prevent it from being targeted by this, but if it can't be killed by effects or be locked, you can still send it to the bottom and prevent you from having to deal with it. So 4 copies, because that's always a helpful skill to have. And then on to our main grade 3. 4 copies of Stealth Rogue Revelation, Yasuie. 12k base, Excel gift, grade 3, Twin Drive, Act Vanguard, once per turn, Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, choose 2 of your units, search your deck or drop zone for up to 1 card with the same card name as one of those units, call it to rear, and search. So if you search your deck, shuffle your deck. So pretty much the same thing as Mondo Lord. If you don't know what Mondo Lord does, take the same ability, same cost, but instead of being an Act Vanguard once per turn, it's just an on-place Vanguard. So it's helpful because it's only 1 Counterblast and a Soul Blast, and the Soul Blast can actually help you because you're sending stuff to drop, which means you have more things you can use to search for. And, you get to search your deck or drop zone for any of the 2 units that you pick with its ability, and you can call one of each. So, you can Soul Blast a copy of this thing, call out a copy of it from the drop zone or deck. Same with this card, which you'd actually benefit more from. You could do it with this thing to set up for your battle phase later. You can use this one for searching later, or not for searching, but to get more power. Or you can use this one to get more power. Either way, it's so helpful to have. And then its other skill, Auto Van, at the end of the battle that it attacked, discard 2, ride a Ambush Demon Stealth Rogue Yasuie Tenma from your drop zone to stand, and it loses a drive. So, get an extra Excel get. If you picked Excel 2, technically you're not really losing anything because you're still getting the draw, which would be your drive check anyways. So, always helpful because you can also use those discards to just discard this thing, which would end up in drop just in time for you to search it out from drop. And, oh, look at that! We can place a Yasuie during battle phase! We can use Takehime to get this out of drop, this out of drop, this out of drop, this out of drop, for some reason. Actually, no, you couldn't get this out of drop because you have to pick another unit. This out of drop, this out of drop, this out of drop. God forbid, this one out of drop. So pretty much anything, or triggers for that matter, pretty much anything in the entire deck is searchable through this one little combo, and you get an extra attack out of it. If you pick Fushimi, you can just wipe out the whole back row if you have 2 others, because most likely you all place them during the same turn. And it's just always a helpful skill to have because you still get more Vanguard attacks out of it. You get more Excel gifts, you can call more units, and you just get more attacks. So 4 copies. And then onto the gifts. We got 6 XL1, 6 XL2s. I don't imagine the game's going to go longer than 6 gifts. Presumably, you're going to be searching for Yasuie, the original, because, in all honesty, you don't need this in hand. Discard it. Search this. Discard this. And so you most likely will get 2 Excel gifts every battle phase, or just every turn in general. So I think 6 is the best because that assumes that you're going to live for longer than 3 turns. So Excel 1, if you don't know, you get an extra circle for it, a new front row circle for it, and the unit on that circle gets plus 10k power. Excel 2, you also get an extra circle, but instead of 10k power, you get 5k power instead with an extra draw when the circle is placed. So, if I suggest Excel 2 because you need the hand cards, because, you're not running that many draws. You still need somewhere to call your rear guards from to begin with so you can start cloning them. But at the same time, Excel 1, if you need to go for rush for power, go for it. But this deck does already get enough power resist, so I think Excel 2 is the best way to go. And then we got the quick show, which is the standard 5k shield, or to be more exact, when one of your units is attacked, it gets plus 5k power till end of battle. Why it's not an actual 5k shield, despite the fact it's called a quick shield, there's a literal art of a shield on it. I have no idea, but that's just how it is. And that was the deck. Sorry if I was talking a bit fast. I had done this deck profile about 10 minutes ago before I started this recording, and it didn't get my audio file, so I'm hoping this time it actually did get my audio file, otherwise I'm going to be really upset because my throat's actually dying right now. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, donate to the Patreon, so I can actually, keep these videos going, and so I can buy half the decks that I've done deck profiles on, because I really want to buy them, but I don't have the money for it, so you guys can help out with that, and I can actually do a lot more things, and once I get enough money, I'll actually do a bunch of giveaways. Once that happens, that is, if it happens. Subscribe so, the channel can grow bigger. Like so that, the video can spread around more, so more people will see it. Comment to, so I can have an interaction with my viewers, because I really like having interaction with the few people that do comment. So comment so you can be one of those people. And I also have a Discord, so go join that so we can have conversations, whether in private or just with an entire Discord chat. Maybe I'll do something special with Discord at some point, who knows. My Twitch channel, go follow that, because I will eventually start streaming to there once I get the time to, which is going to be very soon, hopefully. And that's pretty much everything I got, but I have one more message before I actually officially end this video, which being, I have one more deck profile for V-Series coming up next week. Can you guess what that deck profile is going to be? You probably will, because I'm going to premiere it, and it will be guaranteed that you will see it. So, I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Don't forget to stand up your vanguards.